very few women are really talking about. The hardest time in your whole entire life is going to be when you have to admit to yourself that you've outgrown the life that you built, that your life is a lie. No, it's not when your kids are small. It's not when your kids go away to college. It's not when we're building our careers, when we lose a spouse, when we're in menopause. It's admitting to ourselves that our life no longer fits. That is the hardest time in any woman's life. And most women never get the opportunity to fully live their truth because they're living in survival and they just can't find the courage to be in the unknown, what that would look like to admit to themselves. And the hard thing is that nothing's really broken on the outside, right? So your brain tells you, oh, this is really not happening, or you must be making this up, or it's really not this bad. Things are good. Look what we have. You look like you have everything together on the outside. But the more perfect someone is on the outside, the more they look perfect on the outside, the more broken they are on the inside, the less ability they have to be vulnerable with themselves and with everybody else. But your body starts telling you more of this over time, right? It tells you this isn't working. And will you listen? You feel restless maybe, or you feel caged inside. And most women at this point, they think, I need more. And they'll start putting temporary band-aids, like band-aid after band-aid after band-aid. They'll think, I need more, or I need more healing. I thought I did my healing. I thought I knew myself, but I guess there's more. No, you don't. You don't need healing. It's that your life no longer fits, which is so scary for you to admit, that you may have outgrown your career. You may have outgrown your business. These are things that you may have built your whole life around, that you've worked decades for. You may have outgrown your marriage. You may have outgrown your partnerships, and you don't know what's on the other side. Do you know how much courage this takes? How much bravery this process takes to admit the truth to yourself and to take action? So much. Because once we admit it to ourselves, we can't unadmit it. We know it now. And we have to start that grieving process. Even though something is no longer true for us, it's not serving us, we still have a relationship with it. We still know it. We still feel it. And we're still going to grieve the loss of that. The easiest thing would be to have a midlife crisis, because then you're propelled into really confronting what's no longer true for you. You'd be forced to have to figure it out because you're in some sort of crisis or place of survival. However, for most women, it doesn't work out that way. For most women, they continue to put a band-aid on and they choose a life of dullness. They actually never truly go through the process, and they choose a life without desire, a life of never really knowing their true self, a life of feeling fragmented, a life of carrying this quiet, soft exhaustion within that you'll never solve and you'll never really know why. So many of us are talking about burnout. Well, I'm not anymore. But burnout is just such a popular, trendy word right now, probably because so many women are feeling it. And I know that I just took it out of my lexicon because I was trying so hard to explain the root cause of burnout is this process right here. But so many women are unwilling to go to that root cause, to admit that there isn't more growth needed, there isn't healing needed. It's that you're not living your truth, that you've outgrown the life that you're living now. Most women build lives to survive at first, and then they get older and then they build lives to be liked, to have accolades, to belong. And then they realize, if they're lucky, that none of it is true for them. And most women that I work with are highly capable, worldly successful, visionaries, leaders. And that's a problem, actually, because there is no problems outwardly. There is no crises. There is no catastrophes. In fact, these women are highly adaptable, highly capable. They can problem solve. So for them, it's not until this caged feeling gets so strong that they finally admit it to themselves that they're living a lie. Quite often, it is 5 years later, someone will come to a workshop or they'll reach out to me, and it's not till 5 years later. And I understand why. The courage it takes to admit to oneself, to dismantle one's life, to rebuild one that's more true. You're going to feel lonely because you're missing integral parts of yourself. You're missing parts of yourself. And if you're still with me, you don't need any more healing. You are right. You have done all the healing that you need to be and you need to do. This moment right here, right now, is not asking you to improve yourself. This moment is asking you to let go of an old way of being that is no longer true for you. This moment is inviting you into an initiation. It's not a ceremony, it's not a strategy, it's not a training, it's reclaiming who you really are. And this is so hard because you have to admit that you betrayed yourself. You have to feel the grief of all of the years that you didn't choose you. You'll have to grieve all of the parts of your life that you built that weren't true, that have been a huge part of your life for so long. We'll start with one simple, honest decision. A decision to move forward. That's it. That's as simple. And when you do that, especially if you've been through this, it's going to feel like everything just changed for you and nothing changed for anyone else. And you might find that you try to talk yourself out of it. And don't let yourself talk you out of this. You want to live a life that you can live inside of yourself. This is the journey I guide. And if this is the place that you're in, you can trust this. Subscribe to my channel and I will show you what will come next.